and it looks like we are live right now. I want to take this time to welcome everybody to Koi Sports Corner. I have a special guest on that I had on yesterday. It was so good we had to, excuse me, that I had on Sunday. It was so good we had to do it again. None other than University of Nebraska alum, former offensive lineman for the Cornhuskers, Big Dog, Todd Peterson. And I also did some digging, ladies and gentlemen. I did a little digging and I read upon that this individual that is going to be doing the show with me today had a great deal to do with Jalen Carter's mother actually okaying him to play football and saying that he would be doing the pushing around. He would be doing the pushing around, not anybody on him. I just wanted to say that. So this guy has some credibility. This guy has trained up a lot of people that we don't know that have went on to become very renowned college football stars or indoor pro players. So I just want to give him his flowers and just welcome again everybody, Todd Peterson. So Todd, you want to say anything before we started?
Nah, first I want to say, boy, you've been doing your digging because you didn't even mention that to me about Jalen Carter. But yeah, that was something that happened long time ago. But man, I just thank God for using me as a vessel. You know what I mean? God used me as a vessel for that kid, and he's doing amazing things for himself and for his family. It was nothing that I did personally. I thank God that He chose me to use me as a vessel for that kid and his family.
Hey man, we're glad to
But
have you here.
but
Go
you
ahead.
did do your digging now. You did do your digging
Oh,
because
I
I
got
coached him for multiple years.
yes. When I read that, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I guess I'm a sucker for some very heartwarming stories. I guess because
Mhm.
when it said that his mother contributed Todd Peterson with basically encouraging her to let this guy play football. You know what I mean? Let this
Yeah,
guy do that. I said, wow, Todd did that. I said,
yeah,
I'm not gonna tell him until we're live on the air, but
man.
he did that.
She was worried that Jalen was gonna get hurt. Man, when you see Jalen has always been the biggest kid on the field. So
Mhm.
him even possibly getting hurt to the kids that I knew around the neighborhood, that would have never happened. That would have never happened. But he was so athletic even at the age of 8 years old. He was so athletic. You just had to get him out there just to see what he could do. Just because he could have chosen any sport, basketball, football, track and field, baseball. God had a plan for that kid. And no matter what he chose, that was gonna happen for him.
Absolutely.
That
You
was
know
gonna happen for him.
what God has for you, no man can take from you. So that's
No
just
man can
what it
take it
is.
from you. And God,
So I'm a
God
firm
put
believer
people
in
in your
that.
life and use those people that's in your life as a vessel. I just thank God for using me as a vessel, for choosing me. You chose me to use as a vessel for this kid and his
And now
family.
this young man, and now this young man is in the NFL playing for the Philadelphia Eagles.
In
Played for the
NFL playing for the
University of
Philadelphia
Georgia.
Eagles.
Played
Yes.
for the University of Georgia. Overcame whatever happened in college. Overcame that to still be dominant in the NFL right now. I give major
Still be
kudos to
dominant in the
that.
NFL right now. And only if you
Yeah.
know him. If you know him and he's such a humble kid, the things that you may hear and see, these people don't know Jalen. These people don't know Jalen. And just to
I,
know Jalen,
I read
you
that
know
he gives back to the Apopka community with Christmas dinner, with Christmas presents and turkeys and backpacks for school.
back to
I'm like,
school,
this guy's a
back to
decent guy.
school. And not only that, he does a full football camp every summer. He does a full football camp for any kid
Free.
in the pocket. Not only in the pocket, but you can register from anywhere, and he does it for free. But
I heard that free.
these football camps ain't regular football camps, man. These football camps are a party. You know what I mean? For kids and parents. It's things for the kids to do out on the field. And while the kids are doing something out on the field, there's plenty to eat, plenty to talk around, walk around and talk. There's plenty of people to
Mhm.
talk to because Apopka is such a small community when you really think about it. It's the second largest city in Orange County. But
I can believe
Apopka has
that.
that real hometown feeling. So when
Oh yeah.
Jalen Carter has a football camp here in Apopka, everybody gonna be at that football camp. And it's not just for the kids, it's showing the community how much he appreciates them because the kids eat free for everything. They have Chick-fil-A, pizza, barbecue, hamburgers, hot dogs, the frozen cups that we used to call flips as kids. Man, these kids
Oh,
are
Lily
enjoying.
Dillies, what we call
Yes,
down there in
man.
Fort Myers, Lily Dillies.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, man,
yeah, I
the
know
thing that
something
keep me
about that.
staying impressed, those people don't know Jalen.
All right. So again, people, I just brought that. I just wanted. I brought that story up. I'm not trying to stretch this out longer than we have to, but we do have some things to talk about. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of the guy that that I have selected to be one of the individuals that comes on here and analyze these sports topics with me and has a deal of credibility that you should take note of. And I just wanted to again just give an example of that. All right. To start out, we obviously have to finish off with the actual games. The last game was the 49ers, my San Francisco 49ers, bang,
Mm,
bang, Niners, bang, against the New York football, no, New York Jets.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Oscar. I did that to you. My best friend, Oscar, out there. I'm sorry. I know you're a Giants fan, Oscar. I'm sorry. It's the New York Jets. But we took care of them. They scored a late touchdown,
Handedly.
which
Handedly.
caused one guy, right, which caused one guy in my football pool to actually lose, and the guy with the most points actually to win. So that late touchdown probably didn't matter to the actual game, but in my football pool, it caused one player to lose it and for the other player to get it. So it was interesting. But listen, Todd, obviously I'm excited about my Niners winning to start out the season without Christian McCaffrey. Backup running back racks up 147 rushing yards. I could not believe it, but I was so very relieved with that Kyle Shanahan coaching offense. I'm not surprised in the least bit. Let me go ahead and say that as well.
Uh-huh.
But what did you think about the game, and what was your takeaway for the 49ers and Jets for that matter moving forward?
One thing about the game of football, nothing changes from the age of 5 years old until you're a retired NFL star in the Hall of Fame, maybe. Only thing that changes in the game of football is the speed of the game. As long as you can control the line of scrimmage, you control that game. The 49ers controlled the line of scrimmage all night long. So it didn't matter if Debo played tailback all night long, it would have been the same result. The backup tailback, I think his last name was Martin, maybe, number 24. But that kid was just the reaper of all the benefits from having a dominant offensive line. So there's no wonder that Christian McCaffrey is always in the MVP talk. Look at the offensive line that he's running behind. You can put anybody behind that offensive line that has a 1 ounce of talent, and the same result would have happened. Now, I'm not sure what happened to the Jets defensive line because last year they were pretty dominant. I ain't gonna say dominant. They were okay. But last night they got pushed around. And
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers looked his age.
After that first scoring drive, I'm
Hmm.
gonna say this. After that first scoring drive, from then on, he kind of looked his age. He had
Yes, he
some
did.
shades of young Aaron in that first touchdown drive. He did have some
Hmm.
shades of young Aaron, but I
Hmm.
must say after that, it was like this guy is his age is showing. I'm
He's looking
sorry,
his age.
Father Time is coming on.
Not only
Father
that,
Time
but
is coming on.
even looking at his age, when you're an older quarterback like that, you're always gonna go back to something familiar. Who's the most familiar person on the field to Aaron Rodgers last night? Lazard. So he's going to work with Lazard as much as he can because that's something
Yeah.
familiar. Now, if him and these young wide receivers get something down, we'll see. But last night
If
they
you
lost
get
it in
any
the trenches.
If you could get any kind of chemistry with Garrett Wilson, I mean, like legitimate chemistry with Garrett Wilson, he's a
Yeah,
down the field guy. Like he'll go out and get it. He'll risk his body. He will do. I've seen him go all out with trying to get these catches. So I would. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers though has the wherewithal right now to be able to have that patience with a young receiver again. I mean, they say that yeah, okay, he seemed like he's a little different, and I'm not buying it until I hear out of Garrett Wilson's mouth that hey, Aaron Rodgers did this and did that and said this and said that, blah 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 blah,
Mhm.
building me up and blah, blah. Until I hear that out the goose's mouth, I'm not buying at what some of the commentators are trying to put the narrative of. Well, it's not the same Aaron Rodgers as last year, or at any time in Green Bay the way he treated young receivers. I mean, it's on footage,
Yeah,
it's on tape the way
yeah,
he treated them. Okay, so
yes,
you
yes.
can say you're better now, but until I see more of chemistry between Garrett and Aaron, I'm
Hmm.
gonna question how much he's changed with that.
Who do they play this week? Do they play anybody good
Um,
this week?
I would have to look off the top of my head. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
Ooh, I'm
I
trying
don't
to
even know
raise
off the
my
top of
head.
my
I
head.
can't even remember off the top of my head right now.
But you know
Oh
what?
no, they don't play anybody good. They got four basically tomato cans, in my opinion. The next four games, they got the Titans. I believe they got the Titans, the Vikings, the Broncos, and I mean those are not no juggernaut teams right there, man. They're just not.
You heard it here first. The Jets are going to be 0-2. The Jets are going to lose to the Titans.
I don't know if that's the next game, but I know that's one of the next
No,
four
I
games. But
think
it
you're
might be the
right.
next game.
I
I think
think
it
you're
might be the
right.
next game.
I
Yeah.
think you're right. That's why I even asked because I knew I had it on my mind who the Jets played, and I knew the Jets are going to lose to the Titans.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree because I think that defensive line is gonna be a little bit more stout against that Tennessee offensive line. Even though it's still a decent offensive line, I don't think
Hmm.
it's as strong as San Francisco. Obviously, in my opinion, we got the
Yeah.
best O line in the damn. I mean, maybe Kansas City is a close second, but we got the
Hmm.
best O line in the league, in my opinion. So
Yes.
there's nothing.
Yes.
I mean,
But
but the Titans, especially if they're in New York, in my opinion, I think Quentin Williams will show up a little bit more on that D line. I think he'll have a little bit more of a presence. Sauce Gardner's probably going to get a pick or two off Will Levis.
mm,
Yeah, I could see them easily squeaking out a win over the Titans. Easily squeaking out a win.
but don't forget the other night we had a debate about the Titans when you were telling me that the Titans offensive line didn't protect Will Levis. But Tony Pollard went off. So when you think about the
Yeah,
offensive line, they got enough. Quentin Williams had two good plays in the game last night. Two. And don't get me wrong, that's the most dominant offensive line in the league, but he had two good plays. He's supposed to be a dominant defensive lineman.
going against Trent Williams.
No, not
That's
every
need
play
not
was
say
going
more.
against
He need not say
Trent
more.
Williams.
You going against Trent. When I say that's my favorite offensive line, not because he's on my team either, just his mentality, how much of a dog he is, how he gonna look
Man,
out for his teammates. If you going after one of his teammates and then one of his friends, oh, you gonna have to
yeah,
deal with Big Trent. You gonna have
yeah,
to deal with Big Trent. That's my type of team because I'm a small guy usually on the team on the football team. So to have a big dude like that saying,
yeah.
"No, get off my dude," that make you
Man,
feel good, man. It make you feel good.
one
Now,
one
just
thing I
Trent
love to
comes off
see,
as that type of dude.
one thing I love to see, and I'm a 49er hater. Just because we don't beat y'all twice. I'm still a hater because we don't beat y'all twice, but I'm still a hater. But the one thing I love to see big fella coming out the locker room down the hall with the big radio dancing just as hard as Debo dancing. Boy, that's representing for the
Mm,
big fellas. And I
yeah.
love to see big
Yeah.
fella doing that and leading the team. Leading the team. Everybody behind him.
Heard, heard. So, we play the Vikings obviously next game,
Hmm.
tomato can, and even though they mollywop the Giants, but I mean they walk and keep Danny Dumbo, Danny Dime, whatever you want to call him. They
Hmm.
kept him, and I mean those fans had nothing to start out a home opener for the Giants to be happy about. So I think that we're going to be good against the Vikings. Even with Aaron Jones running back, I think Fred Warner will hold him a little bit more in check. I think our linebacking core, which is pretty great, I think we will hold their main weapon in check, and in turn, it will kind of neutralize. I feel like Sam Darnold to make him really one dimensional, and Sam Darnold cannot beat you on his own. I mean, as a Jet, as a Niner, when he got opportunities to start. He cannot beat you on his own. He needs a great running game. He needs receivers stretched out. He needs all of that. But if he's going up against a great defense with the linebacking core that we possess, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be overconfident. I'm not being cocky, but uh, there's no comparison. There's absolutely no comparison. Just your final thoughts on this about Aaron Rodgers as well.
Aaron Rodgers is showing his age. The thought I have of the game last night, it's going to be the Eagles and it's going to be the 49ers in the NFC Championship again. Who's going to win? I don't know. But the way both of them control the line of scrimmage, I didn't see anybody in the NFC that controlled the line of scrimmage like those two teams.
Yeah.
They control the line of scrimmage. They'll be in the NFC Championship again.
Okay. All right. I think we're in agreement there to end that segment. That's for sure. All right. Moving on. There was an early morning contract negotiation deal made literally right before the footballs were kicked off at 1 p.m. And uh, that who I'm talking about is obviously Dak Prescott signing a 4 year, I believe, $240 million contract, which
Yeah.
is a $60 million annual. It
Yep.
shapes out to be a $60 million annually. He led the league in touchdown passes last year with 36. He was second in the league in passing yards under Lamar Jackson. I
Hmm.
mean, uh, I mean, do you think? I guess I'll present this question because he's gotten his contract now. Do you think now Dak Prescott
Hmm.
will get the Dallas Cowboys over the hump and at least to a championship game? Now you just said it's going to be the Eagles and Niners based upon the
Hmm.
way they control the line of scrimmage because it is one in the trenches, as we always state, which I truly believe that. With him having that big contract, he's got a lot more fire behind him. I feel like.
Hmm.
So you see how the way Lamar's playing. You know, he lost, but he's playing. He started pretty decent for the most. He got cooled off by the Chiefs defense, but he started pretty decent. He looked like he was pretty,
Yeah.
but he not trying to score too much. But he played the defending Super Bowl champions. To be
Hmm.
fair as well. You know what I mean? So what did
Back to
you
back, back to back
Right.
Super Bowl champions. I mentioned that.
Yes, back to back, guys. Yes, back to back. And last year was against my 49ers, and another time was against my 49ers. But that's besides the point. Um, do you think he will get them over the hump after this contract? At some point in time, maybe not this year, I should say, but at some point in time.
I think at some point in time, um, I think the money is well deserved. I think compared to the other quarterbacks in the league and the contracts they've gotten, as money is well deserved. Look at what Kirk Cousins got. That money is well deserved. And not only that, but look what he did against Cleveland. Cleveland still has a really good defense. They still got a top five cornerback, and they still got the best defensive lineman in the league. You got two levels of your defense locked down. So that wasn't just no walk in the park for that. And not only that, but CD Lamb just got back in the picture. He hasn't played in the preseason. And for him to go out there and perform like that, well deserved. Well deserved. You can't compare what you think or what people think about him personally to the market of a quarterback in the NFL. It's the market of the quarterback in the NFL. It's not him personally. So when people
Next
think
man
about,
up.
yeah,
Next
when
man
people
up.
think about $60 million, yeah, but that's the market right now. It's like the economy. That's the market right now. $60 million.
Mhm.
And he's a top five quarterback. I tell you what, if they didn't pay him, the Raiders would have paid him next year.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yes.
You definitely know Mark Davis was gonna swoop him right on up.
Yes.
I can see that right there. So,
Yes.
do you say that you do think he will get over the hump as in a championship or win a Super Bowl? The contract. Oh, hold on. Let me before you answer. Contract is for 4 years. Do you
Hmm.
think in the next 4 years he will either get to a Super Bowl and also win a Super Bowl in the next
In the
4 years
in the
after
next
this
four
contract?
years, in the next 4 years, he will win a Super Bowl. That money is going to be well deserved, and it's going to pay Dallas Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys back tenfold. He'll win a championship in the next 3 years, next 4 years.
I have to
What is he?
disagree.
Only thing he's missing is a running back.
I have to disagree.
Really?
Uh, I don't think their linebacking core, when it comes down to playoff football, making a deep run and
Uh huh.
playoff football, your secondary with Trayvon Diggs
Hmm.
and a few other decent defensive backs, your secondary is pretty decent in my opinion. Your D line has an anchor. I think your D line is stout. The linebacking core for me
Hmm.
is hit and miss on certain games, especially
Okay.
last year. Very
Okay,
hit
but
and miss.
now that
But
goes to a whole different
go
question. What do you consider? What's the kid name? Number 11.
Micah Parsons.
What do you consider Michael Parsons? A defensive lineman or a linebacker?
Well, when your hand is on the ground, at the end of the day, the way I look at it is when your hand is on the ground, I look
Uh-huh.
at you more as a lineman. Now, your position may say you are a linebacker,
Hmm.
because you just still. But in my opinion, as in the
Hmm.
people other than Michael Parsons, because you got usually three linebackers unless you're running a 4-3, but you usually got at least three linebackers. So you
Hmm.
got two other linebackers that ain't Michael Parsons.
Hmm.
Okay, and in my opinion, Michael Parsons played in the playoff game with the Dallas Cowboys.
Hmm.
Michael Parsons played in one. So at the end of the day, his other fellow linebackers had to pick up their slack. And am I prepared to say that they are going to be able to pick up their slack against the Philadelphia Eagles?
Hmm.
Against the San Francisco 49ers? Against even a Detroit Lions?
Hmm.
I don't know. I can't definitively say that. So I have to absolutely disagree that he will win a Super Bowl in the next 4 years. But I will say this. I think he will get to at least one championship game. As in the NFC, I think he will get to at least one. At least. I think two at the most, but at least one. But am I prepared to say that he's gonna take the next step even past that and get to a Super Bowl? I don't think it's on his side of the ball per se. If I'm being
Hmm.
honest, the line is pretty decent at least. The running back is Zeke's back, so he's okay. He's manageable. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
knows the
Yeah.
offense, so he's manageable. Your wide receivers are, I mean, all pro. I mean, Pro Bowl, CD Lamb.
Yeah.
You're good, and you got a number one out there. So I don't, and your
Yes.
tight end is decent. Ferguson is decent enough.
Yes.
Your kicker, special teams is automatic almost.
Yes.
But that part of the defense, I think it's going to rear its ugly head when you least expect it, when it looks like the Cowboys are really going to possibly move it on. And that's where maybe Saquon runs all over them. And that deals directly with their linebackers. Maybe
Mhm.
McCaffrey runs all over them again, and that deals with their linebackers.
But
So,
Corey,
I mean,
but you got to consider. You said in the next 4 years. You didn't say
right.
this year, next year. 4 years? You don't think they'll
Over
make
the
it?
next 4 years. That's including this year. No, I'm saying
Yeah.
because the contract is this year, next year, the year after that, and the year after that. So that's
Hmm.
what I'm saying. Over these next, since he signed a 4 year contract, I'm saying these next 4 years, this year and 3 years from now. That's what I'm
He
saying. Just
won't.
to
He
be clear,
won't.
I'm
He won't
sorry.
win a championship.
What's that?
He won't win a championship in the next 4 years.
Oh. So you're saying basically if it was the next 5 years, because they would be
No,
adding.
I'm not even saying the next 5 years. I'm saying I think Dallas, man, Dallas is probably 2 players away. And I don't like the Dallas Cowboys at all. But I think
Okay.
Dallas is 2 players away.
Seems like you had a little bit of epiphany there because you just said you thought that they would win a Super Bowl. That
Yeah,
Dak
that's what I'm
will.
saying. No, that's what I'm saying. They will win a Super Bowl within the next 4 years because in the next 4 years they're gonna find those 2 players.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry, I got confused. I'm sorry. Okay, I can follow. I follow
Yeah,
you. I follow you now.
no,
I follow you
they
now.
they are
Yeah,
2 players away. They are a dominant safety and
yeah,
a nice running back. A
yeah.
dominant safety and a nice running back. Dallas is 2 players away. And we'll be talking about them like we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles hit the jackpot with Saquon
Yeah,
Barkley. They
yeah.
hit the jackpot.
Because they truly got a running back to match McCaffrey in that championship game if it comes down to the Niners and Eagles. So
Yes,
I'm a little
they
nervous
did.
about that. I'm a
Yes,
little
they
nervous
did.
about that. Yeah,
And I even
that's
consider
truly where they
Saquon,
got strong at.
yes, and Saquon is stronger than McCaffrey. They're both
Yeah,
durable backs. But the one thing about McCaffrey that he has over Saquon, like he says himself, man, McCaffrey is fluid. He fits
yeah.
in
He got a
gaps
little
that
wiggle
most
to
running
him.
backs can't fit in. He's
Yeah, he got a little
fluid.
wiggle to
Yeah, he got a little wiggle to him and make people miss that don't normally miss. Saquon just
him.
gonna run around them or run through
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Through
So there's a little difference there. I mean, you got one that's a brick wall, and then you got one that's liquid, and it just flows. No matter where it's coming from, he flows around it. That's the difference.
him. Okay, so you all right. So to finish off that topic, you believe that Dak Prescott, because they will get the players they need, will actually win a Super Bowl in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And I completely disagree and say that he will not win a Super Bowl in the next 4 years.
Yes.
But
Time
again,
is
I
gonna
do
tell.
say he will get. But again, I do say he will get to at least one championship game in the next 4 years. I will level there. So
Yeah.
moving
Well, he's
on
gonna
to
have to do that
the
to make it to the Super Bowl one year. So.
all right, moving on, and guys, just to let you guys know this topic. Today we are discussing what I like to call hot topics that have went on concerning football. That is obviously it's in the sports realm, so we're still discussing it, but it deals with some obviously personal things. That Prescott's contract is obviously personal, but we obviously are able to add the football aspect to it. But this particular topic is was probably the most regarded topic and the most that got the most headlines, and it was a Tyreek Hill detainment in Miami, Florida. Um, I know that area. I went to a game, I believe in 2017. It was actually the Miami Miracle. It was the Dolphins and Patriots. I went to that
Mhm.
game. I left that game about 30 seconds early because I thought the game was over. And then as we're outside, all you hear is a loud boom. The crowd literally, the cheer when they scored
Mhm.
that touchdown, it literally sounded like a boom if you were
Wow.
outside. I still remember that to this day. But what I wanted to say was I remember that area around Sun Life Stadium,
Mhm.
and I do remember. I'll just say this because we're going to get into it, but I remember it was a long country mile from where you could park at, and then to get to the stadium or whatnot. And the
Mhm.
way those police were to you, like I'm gonna be honest, like because if you are not from Miami and you don't know the path to really go, and you're just kind of following all these groups of people that are walking across this way, because it's really not a clear like go here if you're going there, go there. It's kind of like you got to kind of make out like okay, where am I going? Am I going with the right people here? Are we all
Mhm.
going? You know what I mean? And the way those police were. It's almost like they knew that you knew what to do. And it
Mhm.
was like no type of like, okay, these are maybe tourists or people first time going to their first game. Let us be a
Yeah.
little bit more encompassing to them. I do remember that. They were not pleasant in the least bit. Now they don't have to be, but I
Wow.
do remember. I do still. And I told my wife this early day. I said I remember that how the way those police were. I
Hmm.
remember how they just seemed like they were not happy to be having to do that crowd control, as in traffic,
Hmm.
letting you know. It seemed like they were just annoyed to even be a part of it, and they showed it with
Wow.
the way they snarl direction to people, that
Hmm.
don't have any idea truly of where they're going. You know what I mean? Like to
Hmm.
be just honest, they don't know where they're going. So I I don't really watch body cam footages because I have a triggering thing sometimes, especially with what happened with Philando Castile. And this guy, full disclosure, I have my own political time, so I'm not getting political. This does not have to do with anything with politics. I want to make sure I make that very, very clear here. But this is a sports athlete, so we are going to give our opinion on what happened. Our opinion may differ somewhat, and our opinion may be the same. But you know what? It is what it is because it needs to be discussed, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, I actually went against my oath that I took that I wouldn't watch any more of the body cam footages that come out that depict just horrifying things and whatnot. And I said, you know what? It's a football player. It can't be too bad. I mean, they probably talked to him rough. It might not be so bad. And I'm watching it with an open mind, open heart, and I'm watching. Okay, Tyreek Hill, you telling them don't be banging on your window. Okay, might not want to tell the police that. I'm just saying you might not want to tell the police that in that way. You might not
Hmm.
want to because they might get their aggression up. And this
Yeah.
particular cop got his aggression up because it's like when he let that window back up after he gave
Hmm.
his license and registration. After he left that window back up, it was like you gonna let that window up on
Yeah.
me? Like, who do you think you are? And it's like,
Yeah.
in my opinion, last time I checked, in the state of Florida, when a law enforcement officer pulls you over, you are required to provide license, registration, and insurance to them. That's what you are
Hmm.
required when it's a moving violation. Their job then is to go back to their vehicle or their motorcycle and run that information, see if you have any warrants or anything like that out. If
Hmm.
you are clear and there is nothing in that system that shows that you have anything outstanding, you are to be either ticketed or given a warning. That is it. That is all. So there is no probable cause to want to pull him out the car because he wouldn't let his keep his window down, or he didn't know, just simply didn't want to keep his window down. My family is in law enforcement. Okay, I got a lot of members of my family in law enforcement, federal corrections officers, county sheriffs, police officers. I got all range of. So please don't come to me with the you don't care for law, you don't respect the law. I respect the law in the fullest extent. If you acting like a donkey out there, and the
Hmm.
cops have to come and apprehend you to get you to act right because you will not truly follow their command and you're being belligerent so that you're
Hmm.
a threat to the community. No, I'm 100% with the police of getting you back in line and having to arrest you if they need to arrest you. That is their job, is to maintain the order. But but it has to be a level of self-control to be able to de-escalate situations or at least not get on a power trip because you feel like because an individual didn't leave their window down, that constituted you the right to be overly aggressive and pull him in and yank him out of the car, put a knee on his back. It's three of y'all. They put a knee on his back. I just I just felt like it was excessive. I felt like it was excessive. The way they, and last but not least, one last thing I want to touch on. He had people come to support him, not came getting out the car being belligerent, like, why you effing up with my friend? Or they just came just to say, hey, just Calais Campbell had his hands up coming up there. Like, look, I don't mean no harm. I don't mean no threat, sir. I just don't want y'all to hurt my friend. That's it. You yank him to the ground, even though he said I just had surgery. You yank him still to the ground to make sure, and then said, before, I think another, he told him to stop crying. After they yanked him out the car, put a knee in his back, and like he tried to hurt his arms when you're putting his arms behind his back. I watched
Yep.
every single detail, and I said to myself, man, that was so disgusting. But if you black in America, you have seen that, at least in my opinion. If you grew up where I grew up, at least once in your life, you've seen that. Now I want your take on this right here. You got the floor. I went a while. You got the floor.
I agree with you 110%. And one person I want to applaud in this situation is Mike McDaniel, because the head coach of the Miami Dolphins came and said, and this speaks to a lot of people that don't recognize it. But when he came out and said, it's fucked up that I will never know what that feels like because he's a white man. It's fucked up that he will never know what that feels like. He can be doing the same exact thing that Tyreek Hill was doing coming to the stadium, but he knows that the way the police reacted to Tyreek wouldn't have been the same that they were going to react to him.
Mm-hmm.
And if any of his white friends stopped, same goes to Calais Campbell. They would have been treated totally different than him. But that speaks such volume in this situation that a white man can honestly say, it's fucked up that I will never know what that feels like. And watching the videos, the more I watch the videos, the more I watch the videos, the more I get disgusted by it because he wasn't doing anything out of line. He wasn't doing anything excessive for him to get pulled out of his car, knee in his back, and then placed in handcuffs. It'd be different. You smelled marijuana. It'd be different if you smelled alcohol. But this guy is on his way to the stadium for a game. Never mind the fact if you knew who he is or not. Let's take it that you don't know who he is. He can
Yeah.
be a fan. He can be a fan. But even driving to that stadium, you don't smell alcohol, you don't smell marijuana. Why does he have to roll his window down when he's already giving you everything that you've asked for? He can say whatever he has to say, whatever he wants to say behind that tinted window. You're the police officer. You got to keep your cool because he's doing nothing. It's America. We have freedom of speech. Freedom. He can say whatever he wants to say as long as he's presenting you with what you're asking for.
Yes.
It's their job to keep their cool, not his. He just has to give them what they're asking for.
Last time I checked, your job as oath as an officer is to de-escalate the situation
There you
at
go.
every turn, at every point, is to de-escalate, de-escalate, de-escalate. It is safe to say that those police officers escalated that in the highest sense possible.
They
And I
better get
don't
their resumes together.
understand. I was gonna say, and I don't understand where could someone justify that particular conduct in any instance. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They better get their resumes together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, one of them is on administrative leave. I told my wife, one of them is on administrative leave.
Mhm.
One of them
All of them.
is, from what I've seen, at least three of them. There was
Three
one
of
of them
them.
that you could tell, out of four of them, you could tell one of them was like, man, y'all, this kind of
Yeah,
effed up what we kind of doing. I don't know if you seen that one officer. It seemed like he was kind of like, I don't really want to be with this like this. When
yeah.
the other guy got all aggressive, the second guy got all aggressive and stuff, and then you could see that guy was like,
But you know, even
I
even the
noticed
second
him. I noticed that cop.
even the second
Go
two that
ahead.
came up, those second two came up like, man, we only doing this because you doing this.
Yeah, like a pack of
You
dogs. I
wasn't.
mean, Shannon Sharp said it best. I said Shannon Sharp said it best, like a pack of dogs.
Like a pack of dogs. We
I
on
mean, it's very true. One dog go to if you walking and it's five dogs right there, and one dog come to bite you, you rest assured you better be running because the rest of them dogs gonna come bite you. That's a true statement right there. That happened to me as a very young kid in Fort Myers, walking to the Puerto Rican store for my mama to get some stuff for her, and yeah, had a boatload of dogs running after me because one
man,
dog had came up and met me.
they
So
used to
yeah,
happen. That used to happen in every hood, Coy. It was always that
yeah,
one dominant dog that got everybody. That got all the dogs in the hood hyped up, no
yeah,
matter what it was. No matter what it
yeah.
was.
And that's what I seen, man. And that aggression when he walked up to Janu Smith, the other officer had told Janu Smith he could go. This cop walks up and says, "No, you got to deal with me now. No, you got to deal. Oh, so you on a power trip now?
Yes,
You on a power trip? You out of line now?
he wanted a piece of the action,
Yeah,
but that cost him his job too.
yeah.
That
Oh,
cost him his job too.
I believe the three that were being very aggressive, I believe they will be future endeavors. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. I think they
They'll
will be
be
because you heard that statement
they'll
by the
get a
Miami
job.
Dolphins.
They'll get a job in a different city as a as a security guard for 2 years until you no longer hear
Yep,
about it. Then they become a small town police officer and do the same thing again in a small town.
yep, absolutely. It happens all too often. They don't actually get their peace officer license taken away from them. They just get
Exactly.
fired from a job. They just get
Exactly.
fired from a job and able to move on and cause terror in somebody else's community now. And that's
Exactly.
what's so disgusting about it.
Go be a
Yeah,
security
that's
guard for a year and a half and then become a small town police officer and do the
and
same
I
thing in a small town that you were doing in the large city. It just didn't get seen as much because it's a large city.
and the argument that I think infuriates me the most is, well, the cop was wrong and he shouldn't have got like that. But Tyreek, he told you let your window down. So we victimize the victim. We
Man,
victimize the victim to where so because he didn't let it down within a half a millisecond after he was told, because and the guy was beaten, being very aggressive, even after he gave his documents that he was asked to present,
hmm
he in the wrong. I
I'm
cannot ride with that particular argument.
I'm so tired of us having the slave mentality. As much as I hate to
Talk
say it,
about
the slave mentality to where we got a yes sir, no sir. We're out of that stage. We don't have to yes sir, no sir to you anymore. So we have the same rights as anybody else in America. If it was Donald Trump, if it was Bill Gates,
it. Yeah,
if it were what's the guy from Tesla? Elon Musk,
yeah,
they would
Musk.
have never been treated the same. But because the color of his skin, that's
Oh
why he was
yeah,
treated the way he was. But us as black people that wanna say, well, he shoulda, he shoulda, we gotta get out of that slave mentality. We're no longer in shackles and chains. We deserve the same rights as everybody else. So if this man is telling me to roll my window down and I look at him crazy and I take my time rolling my window down, that's my business. And you be patient. You ask me to do something, give me time to do it. If I choose to do it, I've already presented you with everything that you've asked for. So who's to say I got to do it at all? We
that's
got
what
to
I'm
get out of that
saying.
mentality, man.
It's
We got to
always
escape
about
that mentality.
It's always the victim violated some type of made up imaginary law that the police want you to follow, but it's never that the police violated their oath of office by not de-escalating the situation, by not
Exactly.
having the self control. You have the power of life and death in your hands. You have that
Exactly.
power with that gun, with that badge, with that taser, with that nightstick.
Yes.
You got the power to do some damage. And for
Yes.
you to have the mentality of, I'm going to abuse it, I'm going to show you who boss, it's like, no, that needs to be talked about. It doesn't need to be talked about always how the victim got victimized. It needs to be talked about how the people that are put in charge to take care of things, to keep order, are not obeying the same laws that they are instructed to enforce. They are
Yes.
not. I
Yeah,
just that
he
really,
had a He had a Miami Vice moment, man. He had a Miami Vice moment. He thought it
whew,
was Chip from Miami Vice and thought he had done caught some
still
drug
had the helmet
smuggler.
on, right?
Yeah,
Still
he
had the helmet on.
thought he had done caught some drug smuggler coming down the way, going 65 and 25, not realizing it was Tyreek Hill, who honestly making the money that he's making to drive something like that. He had a Miami Vice moment. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to because it was stupid for any other reason.
And they also said in the video, I guess I heard, they also said that they acknowledged, the cops acknowledged, that, oh yeah, that's Tyreek Hill there. So they knew it was Tyreek Hill. They actually knew it was Tyreek Hill and basically said, yeah, we on this power trip, F him. He gonna know who boss today. And that's
Man,
all that was. I mean, when I say I was truly disgusted by that, man, how the
man,
way they got,
Trick Daddy, the rapper Trick Daddy.
man,
I'm a huge Trick Daddy fan. He had a
yes.
verse in a song that he rapped years ago that says, "You own a nice home and a Lexus truck. You still an N-word.
America.
America."
Mm,
But guess what? This, as much as that song was warranted back then and stood for something back then, this is a different America. And you know who's making it a different America? This younger generation.
yeah,
This younger generation ain't standing for the things that we were taught as a kid, the things that we were taught to respect. Not only respect, but even if you're being disrespected, you respect that without a shadow of doubt. These kids don't believe that. These kids believe and live. Respect deserves respect. You respect me, I'm going to respect you. And
yeah,
we could talk about anything. But these kids are changing the world.
yes.
These kids are
And I'm
changing the
encouraged by
world.
them. I'm
And
encouraged
even
by
though,
them.
yes, and as much as I love that song, no, it ain't that way anymore. Tyreek Hill just ain't a N word.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be some consequences and repercussions. Did you see that Miami Dolphins statement? Did you see that scathing statement that they released concerning
No,
the conduct of those police officers?
no, I
I said,
didn't.
oh, I think heads are gonna roll. I think
Mm.
heads are gonna roll, boy. I mean,
It's just a matter of time.
that was a pretty strong statement, boy, concerning Janu Smith, Tyreek Hill, and Calais Campbell. I
Wow.
mean, usually they usually try to walk that fine line because they need the police there to protect. You know what I mean? So they try to walk
Hmm.
that fine line. Usually, they went in, and I was
Wow.
very, very relieved to see that. I was, especially in the state of Florida, at that,
Yes.
the BS that we got to deal with down here.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, don't
Yeah.
let me get started. But to end the night, we have to go to University of Nebraska, blowing out, yes, Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. I just want to say this real quick before I let you take off. I did not think that the Buffs were going to win that game, but I also did not think that they were going to get blown out. It's starting to look like, to me, they don't got an O line, they don't got a D line. All they
Mhm.
got is skill receivers. You can't do nothing with skill receivers if you can't control the line of scrimmage.
Mhm.
If you don't have any foundation on that O line to let Shador be able to at least get 3 seconds, to be able to get a
Mhm.
good pass down the field to your boy Hunter, Travis Hunter, it don't
Mhm.
mean the hell a bean that you got the best maybe wide receiver in the country. It don't mean nothing. It does not. It don't mean nothing that you got an all world or pretty great quarterback in Shador. It don't mean nothing if as soon as he hiked the ball, they in the backfield. The D
Yeah.
line, the D line, you can't stop a nosebleed. I mean, I say it sounds like a broken record, but you really couldn't stop a nosebleed. The way Nebraska did what they wanted in that first half against them. Now, in the second half, the refs kept it close, in my opinion. Felt like the
Mhm.
refs kept it a little close there. That was my take on the thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
oh, the refs kind of said, okay, now we got to give them a chance. Now, can't let y'all blow them out too bad. Now, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I was really surprised, and it looks like it might be another 4-8 season for Coach Prime.
Mm.
University of Nebraska alum, Mr. Todd Peterson. What was your take, sir, on this game and Coach Prime?
I don't think it's gonna be another 4-8 season. I think they go. I say 8-4. I really think they're gonna pull it together. But the one thing about it is, and they're not coaching to their strengths. You know, you have a weak offensive line. You also have some scatty running backs, and you also have some scatty receivers. They need to start throwing screen passes and bubble screens to keep those linemen at bay, because you gotta make those linemen think. Because if they just think every single play they're just running uphill and trying to sack the quarterback, that's what they're gonna do. But when you start throwing screen passes, bubble screens, getting the ball out quick, now they gotta backplay a little bit because they can't keep up with the game. Because you get 2 seconds to throw the ball in. They can't penetrate in 2 seconds when he's already 5 feet back. Colorado, as much as I'm a Nebraska fan, Colorado's not coaching to their strengths. And even when you say Travis Hunter, they're looking to Travis Hunter way too much. Remember, in the very first game of the season, Jimmy Horn had 198 yards receiving. And the only play he had in the Nebraska game was the kickoff return. Why ain't you looking at Jimmy Horn as much as you're looking at Travis Henry?
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter, I'm sorry, Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Jimmy Horn is putting up numbers too. Utilize your weapons. Get the ball out fast. Have traps. You're not running any traps up the middle. Run traps if you're going to run the ball. Run screen passes. Run bubble screens. Run quick slants. Run tight end dumps. You got to get the ball out quick. But you got to coach to your strength. But they're so used to coaching Shador to be an NFL quarterback where you're in a 5-step drop and you got three
Yeah.
seconds. He's not an NFL quarterback right now. He's a collegiate quarterback, and his offensive line is horrible. So he's not going to have being a 5-step drop and have 3 seconds. 5-step drops, he got a second and a half right now.
Yes.
Coach to your
Yeah.
strengths. Coach to your strengths. They're not doing that right now. Right now they're trying to coach to a position and a player. Coach to your strengths and coach the whole team. Utilize the
Well,
talent that you have.
I think they made an addition to their defense at least. I believe Warren Sapp is on the coaching staff now. I believe Apopka High School's own Warren Sapp. I think he
Yeah,
grew up there in Plymouth, if I'm not mistaken. He grew up there in Plymouth, right
yeah, he
outside
did.
of Apopka, and went to high school in Apopka. But the defense still is not good. You're saying coaching to the strengths on the offense. It maybe it's me. And again, people out there, not a Dion hater. I actually got more ties to Dion than most people. We grew up in the same hometown of Fort Myers, Florida. So he went to the high school that I went to my freshman and half of my sophomore year at North Fort Myers High School, a red night. So I do know, and I do know the principal that got Dion back on the right track, Mr. DeShazo. So I do have a little bit ties to the city, at least where Dion is from. And also a classmate of his was a coworker of mine at public supermarket. So I got a little different ties to Dion all over. But it just seems to me that he's coaching two people. Before he was coaching three and one got injured. It seemed like to me he coaching two people. It seemed like he coaching his boy and he coaching up Travis Hunter. And it seemed like he is directing his coordinators as such to do the
Mm-hmm.
same.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm wrong, but it's glaring to a point to where it's like y'all ain't supposed to lose to Nebraska by this much if y'all lose to Nebraska at all.
Yeah. Yes.
So
That the week the morning of that game, I actually told my son we were going to win by at least 14.
wow,
I knew it because, like you said,
you still have a connection. I
yeah,
respect that. Yeah,
but like you said, he's coaching three players. But I'm a Dion fan. I think
yeah,
Dion is a Much better coach than that. But right now, he's coaching with an agenda. He's coaching to have two kids on the podium for the Heisman. He's
And
coaching
what
with
it,
an agenda. If he gets out of that agenda that he's coaching with and really coach the game of football, his son left the game early. Shador left the game early Saturday night and went back in the locker room with like 2 minutes left. If that were anybody other than his son, that's not going. Stop
no,
coaching with an agenda and coach. Let your coaching shine. If you get rid of that agenda, trust me, those players are gonna shine. But you
it
gotta
just seems like
trust your
those.
coaching.
I was gonna say it just seemed like those players, some of those players, it's almost like they know what's going on and they're just
Hmm.
adversarial to it, even though they're not saying anything to the media, even though you don't hear any actual sound bite from one of them off the record or revealing something. But it just seems as if they know that he don't give a damn about them. They know that he is really just looking out for these two players, or it seems
Hmm.
as if he's looking out for these two players. And I think they're saying we're just gonna let him sink or swim, and that's what it feels like. That I
It's
mean,
definitely
that's what it
it's
feels like.
definitely
Unfortunately,
yeah, it's definitely a reflection on the field because look at the kid's body language. Body
yeah.
language speaks louder than a voice. And those kids' body language at times was just, you know, those kids reminded me of a youth football team, 12 years old, the baddest in the city. They play a playoff game against the next city over, and all of a sudden they losing by 14. Now, all season long, they've been getting along. Everything has been hunky dory because they've been winning. But the first time they have to face adversity, they start turning against each other, sitting away from the crowd on the bench like Travis Hunter was doing, leaving the field early like Shador did. That's a
Mm,
12-year-old Pop Warner team. Coach Prime is a much better coach than that. You down by 14, you get them kids to rally to where they know they're gonna win that game. And even if they don't win that game, they're gonna go down feeling like they win it because they left it all on the field. Those kids aren't leaving it all on the field right now for Coach Prime. And you can tell. Watching the game, you can tell.
yeah,
Even with the talent that they have on the offensive and defensive line, they should have a much better showing than that. Some of those kids are 4 and 5 star players. They're just transfers. They should have a much better showing than that. But it
same
comes
here.
down to coaching. And I'm a Dion fan.
Likewise, believe
He
it or
just
not,
needs a coach.
likewise.
He just
I.
needs a coach without an agenda.
What do you think that's going to possibly change for him to? What do you think is going to have to happen for him to change his agenda? You know, like what's going to have to happen?
He's going to have to be the motivator. He's going to have to be the head coach. He's going to have to trust his coordinators. He's going to have to let his coordinators make decisions to where sometimes his sons may not be in that shining star. Sometime on third down, the ball's not going to Travis Hunter. We're going to draw up plays for Jimmy Horn. We're going to draw up plays for number 10. We're going to draw up plays for 14. And on our defensive line, we're going to run stunts. And our linebackers, we're going to have the most athletic linebackers out there. And we're going to run stunts and crosses. And we're going to get some kind of pressure. But he has to trust his
So,
coordinators. And I don't even I'm not saying that he's a dictator of his offense and defense. I'm not saying that at all because I don't know that if he is or not. But if his coordinators aren't doing that and he's shying them away from it, shame on them because it's them that need to step it up. Not and Coach Prime need to step it up and hold them accountable. So I'm not saying it's all on Coach Prime. And that's what he's doing because I don't know that. So if his coordinators aren't drawing up plays like that, aren't drawing up defenses like that, then they're shorting Coach Prime, which is making him look bad. But if he has any kind of influence at all with what they're doing on their schemes and their play calling, shame on him.
This brings me to my next and final question concerning this topic. Do you think that Coach Prime will get his team to a bowl game this year?
Yeah, they'll get to a bowl game. They won't make it to the playoffs. They'll be far from the playoffs, but they'll make it to a bowl game.
I have to
I
disagree
definitely.
with you again.
Really,
I
you
have to
don't think they'll make it
disagree.
to a bowl game? Well, you think they're gonna go 4-8?
Uh, I think they'll go
Remember, they only have to be 500 to make it to a bowl
5-7.
game.
I think they'll go 5-7,
5-7.
or they'll go or they'll go 5-6 if they play 11 games.
Well,
I
remember,
really do.
they're in the Big 12 now,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
there's no longer Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12. So I mean, I give them Baylor will be a tough game. Iowa State will be a tough game. Houston will be a tough game. UCF, who's now in the Big 12, will be a tough game. I'm still gonna say they're gonna go 8-4.
I just 5-7. I guess 6-6 at best, and they'll squeak in maybe, but I still don't think so.
Mhm.
I just don't. I don't think that Coach Prime is going to get out of his own way. I just don't think that he's going to say, you know what? Let me put my boys let me put my boys on the back burner, so to speak, this particular week because we got a decided advantage in Jimmy Horn this week against a particular DB. I
Mhm.
don't think he will be able to see the forest for the trees. I think he will be still caught up on my boys need to be 1-2 in that draft. And I think if he continues with that mentality, it's going to end ugly this year in Boulder. I just
Yes.
really, again, I'm from Fort Myers, from where he's from. I always loved Dion. I went to many events that Dion threw, free events, food, groceries, different things that Dion threw for the community down in Fort Myers.
Mhm.
Okay, I remember those very vividly. So I will never disparage Deion Sanders' name. I will never say he's a bad guy. I will never say any of those things. But what I will say is I think one of the worst things that could have happened when you first get your first major collegiate coaching opportunity
Mhm.
is that both of your sons happen to be there as soon as you get there.
Yeah.
So you know, and your third child, basically Travis Hunter, is there. So instead of
Yeah.
you getting them, let's say a first or second year in, so you got them from a recruit, or you got your sons because they were just getting out of high school, and you've already been at least a year established in the college football realm. I think I think it was just too much for Dion to be able to focus and say, "Let me play to the strength, to your point, of my team."
Yeah.
You are so fast on that offensive end. I mean, the speed of
Mhm.
Colorado on the offensive side of the ball is unbelievable.
I
But putting
agree.
that all together, that's
Yeah.
another story. It seems like for Prime, and I don't think he will. Me personally, I definitely don't think he'll make it to a major bowl game, but I don't think he'll make it to any bowl game. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he still speaks in with at least a 6-6 record and at least get the bowl game. But if you're gonna tell me, am I gonna bet money? Am I gonna bet money? No, I'm not
No.
gonna put money on that.
Well,
No,
you know what? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. I wouldn't tell you the
absolutely.
truth. I wouldn't bet money on it either. Tell you the truth, because now that I
You
think
wouldn't bet
about the Big
money on
12 beating,
it.
yeah. Now that I think about the Big 12, you still got Kansas State there. Yeah, it's gonna be some tough games.
Yeah, I just feel like he underperforms against competition that sometimes you think oh, that's no big deal. They're definitely gonna beat them. He kind of
Yeah,
underperformed against those teams a lot of times. I know
but
last year
the only reason you
underperformed.
the only reason you think there are teams that he should have no problem with is because of his name. His
That's
his athletes haven't shown you that. It's because of his name, Coach Prime, and his Louis bags. That's the
and the
only reason he bringing his
sunglasses,
luggage.
huh?
Yeah, he bringing his luggage and it's Louis. That's the only thing
Yeah,
that you're judging him on. You can't say he's ever had actually coached a great team. No, maybe the athletes that he's bringing with him, the Louis bags that he bringing with him, ain't so Louis.
I think you make a good point. I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
you make a
especially when
good.
you talk about the best athletes in the country.
You're right about that.
Yeah,
Man, listen, guys, it has been great doing the show with you guys. For all the people that are gonna watch, I appreciate you guys. All the people that did watch, I appreciate everybody. I'm committed to getting content out every week on this channel concerning sports, concerning the NFL, because the NFL season is in. I'm also still doing content with the WNBA. I'm a huge, obviously, everybody knows that follows me. I'm a big Caitlin Clark mark. Say what you want to. You don't have to hate one and love the other. You can like both of them. You can
yeah,
appreciate both of their talents and where they're strong at, and where you can appreciate that. Me personally, I'm gonna ride with Caitlin CC22 all day long, and I'm not gonna do it based upon race. I'm not gonna do it like, oh, because I feel like I have to do it because she's white and I have to bow to her. Has nothing to do with that. But I am gonna still gonna be covering her. I will have Ty Kirby on to discuss that, and sometimes I will have Big Todd Peterson on as well. So the WNBA season is not fully over yet. I am a girl dad. I do have a daughter. Todd has a couple of daughters, if I'm not mistaken. So he
two.
definitely loves women's sport. He definitely can
Yeah,
appreciate a woman going at it and competing in a sport type in a type of sport like that. So we are going to obviously cover the WNBA playoffs and see what way that goes. And in particular, again, because for full disclosure, had over 13,000 views through my shorts, and 10,000 of them have come from me talking about one particular individual. I don't know why, but I get views when I'm talking about her. So I gotta respect that right there. But I'm
yeah.
also gonna be getting views talking about what I love also, which is football, and that's with my guy right here. So we're gonna continually do this. I'm gonna try to do this at least 2 to 3 times a week.
All right.
So I appreciate again everybody's time. Todd, I can't thank you enough. You already know. Can't thank you enough.
Appreciate
I
it, Corey.
appreciate you making the time. Two married men here, guys. Two
Yes,
married
sir.
men that got families that work hard, that bust our butt, that support our families. And we're trying to make time for you guys, provide you guys with some great content out there, an alternative of the sometimes skewed or a particular narrative they're trying to do on the other major networks out there. So we're trying to
Yeah.
have our little platform to discuss things that are near and dear to us and give our take and allow you guys to comment and be a part of it. So thank
All
you
right.
guys for this opportunity.
Appreciate
Thank
everybody
you
out there.
again,
Appreciate you
Todd.
guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And we are signing out here. Until next time, take care of yourself.
All right. Appreciate you, Corey.
Appreciate you.